Here we go. It's Mawkzy versus Rebmob in the Arm the Rebels $1,000 Cup. It is the 4th time they've done 1v1, I think. They've maybe done 5 total tournaments, but we have ourselves the Mob versus Mawkzy. Rebmob has been playing a lot of solid 1v1 as of late, and he got himself an invite here to the Arm the Rebels, and of course, what better first round matchup than against Mawkzy. These guys have had some spicy back and forths over on the 9 to 5 King of the Hill stream. In case you guys haven't been checking that out, you probably should, of course. Everyone here in chat has been loving it. They can vouch for it. But if you're just watching on the YouTube video, these guys have a little bit of history, specifically the history from Rebmob. If for some reason we have not had a video go up with Rebmob yet, I think we have. Maybe you haven't seen it. But he was picked from the chat to play in the King of the Hill when the queue was empty and has since taken over. He's now in 2nd place. This morning, actually, Mawkzy and Mob are playing a bit of King of the Hill, and Mawkzy was able to take over as number 1, but Rebmob is still in 2nd and is tied for 1st with the highest streak. But that's a different tournament. Right now, it's Arm the Rebels. It's win or go home or stay home but not get to play in the tournament anymore. In Mawkzy versus Rebmob. When they played earlier today, 2 games for Mawkzy, 1 for Rebmob. He has claimed to understand Mawkzy's playstyle and now is certain he'll be able to win this best of 5. But I wouldn't be quite so sure. I think Mawkzy comes in as the favorite clearly. Rebmob seems to have a better matchup against Mawkzy than other players of similar skill level, which is a good sign for Rebmob, but it is still not going to be easy. 2-0 at the start of game number 1 for Mawkzy, and he's going to catch Rebmob. Ooh, not quite. Diving in deep. Rebmob is able to recover. Mawkzy, low 50 denied. He's going to have low boost now as Rebmob picks up 100. Able to dodge the bump attempts. And Mawkzy going to pre-jump this one. Rebmob goes underneath, and he'll get his first goal. Rebmob uses 0.15 controller dead zone. That's kind of a pretty high dead zone, no? Is that why you're bringing that up? Back in the day, before you could change it, it used to be 0.3. I think 0.3 was like the natural one, right? And then they allowed you to make it smaller. Mawkzy doing some camera looks back at Rebmob after cutting it around him, which is just very interesting because it feels so much slower. You know, if you threw some of the people back, you know, everyone talks about RLCS Season 1 and how they don't look quite as good as everyone does now. You got to remember that they didn't have a pre-bind for like air roll left or right. They didn't have, I don't think they even had at that point, the ability to change their dead zone like that. So there are lots of things that were making it harder for them. You know, getting flip resets or whatever didn't work yet. I can't remember if that happened before RLCS Season 1, but either way, the point is the same. Lots of stuff about the game was different that made it harder on them as well. Not to say that you send Zen back and he doesn't figure it out quite quickly and, you know, play in that meta just fine, but Mawkzy hook shot to the back wall as Mob sends it high. Who's streaming Jack Juke? If you're looking for any of the other games, it should be Johnny, CJ, and Rizzo. And then I think maybe Hootie Hoo as well. That's the usual crew who cover the Arm the Rebels. So those are the accounts to look for to see which game everybody has. As Mawkzy got an early 3-goal lead and has been able to hold on to it. Rebmob offense is lacking here. Down 4-1 with 1:40 left to go. Flip reset wasn't discovered yet, but they were already existing. So you're telling me Neo Tokyo had been released, but people weren't really doing it regularly. Mawkzy's wasting a bit more time off the clock as he watches Mob slowly recover back. Nah, Rizzo is watching Kitchen Nightmares. Okay, maybe Rizzo's not covering them if he's currently watching Kitchen Nightmares. Have we never seen Feer's hair all this time? I guess not. Dazarin is streaming. Maybe Dazarin is taking over for Rizzo if Rizzo is not watching any Rocket League games. Rebmob, even if he doesn't bring this one back, he needs to kind of prove to himself he can get some offense going here against Mawkzy in the show match. How much did chat believe in him? Ooh, nice pogo. I mean, it looked like it was going to be a pogo shot. It turned into just a 50, but it worked out. The prediction had 26% of you on the mob. I would say that that's pretty accurate. Rebmob does have the upset potential against Mawkzy, but certainly just because of a couple King of the Hill games doesn't necessarily mean it's time to predict Mob to be taking him down here in this matchup. Although he's working his way back with 38 seconds left to go. Hoodie's not live. He's got a thing for Musty. So you're telling me he's not streaming because he has a crush on Musty? I mean, I don't get why that stops him from going live, but Mawkzy knows that with 20 seconds left to go and a 2-goal deficit, the mob is going to have to be doing some diving here. And dives on Mawkzy without making any connection. Mawkzy secures game number 1. Exclamation point register. Tiny Terry wants you guys to register as soon as possible. If you guys don't know, Arm the Rebels Cup being run by Shopify Rebellion. That's why it's called Arm the Rebels. And what they want from you, chat, what they want from you in return for giving us this amazing weekly tournament with top level players playing way more than we could ever hope for. All they want you to do, sign up yourself. Sign up to play in it. The open qualifiers. Get a chance to play against these guys like Rebmob and Mawkzy. So all you have to do is follow exclamation point register to sign up today for Arm the Rebels event 7, just like Tiny Terry. Oh, it's a 2v2 event. The next one's 2v2. So you and your buddy can go play some 2 versus 2 against Zen and Exotic, who I know, played in the last one. So you guys don't want my Diamond 1v1 in there. Well, it's a 2v2 tournament. Mawkzy and Rebmob, game number 2. Rebmob needs to get going here early. Otherwise, he's going to have dug himself a far bigger hole than he can deal with. Mawkzy going to have lots of field in between him. We talk about players like Diaz who play in the air and how you need to do your best and never let them get that kind of space to get up. Mawkzy's that guy, but for the ground, you never want to let him get a carry on top of his car, rolling towards the net. He is one of the most lethal players there are, but right now, Rebmob, not as quick as he is thinking he is. It's going to lead to Mawkzy up 1-0. Rebmob fake kickoff, forgets to pick up the boost, so it's not going to go in his favor. Mawkzy is reading these early challenges, and so far has done a good job of keeping it around Mawkzy. I mean, we talked earlier about you don't want to let Mawkzy have a carry, but it's at any point during the carry that you could be in trouble. Anytime he's been able to get on the ground, get settled, have control of the ball, it's already too late. Even if he's back in his back corner, you might try and dive, he'll read you, pop it over. The chaos seems to have to go in your favor before he gets any clean possession. Otherwise, it can be really tough to deal with. Rebmob slamming this one into the back wall. Not the best first touch, but should be able to get back down to the ground. Tried to flick over the top of Mawkzy. Didn't get it. But watch Mawkzy as he swung back around to the midfield to make sure he wasn't going to go for a bump when he noticed that he wasn't. That's when he went for that air roll shot, just perfectly saved by Mawkzy. Now, Rebmob, really solid first touch. His aerial game is on point, but he's going to miss this finish, and Mawkzy's going to undercut him, try and counter. This is what Mawkzy loves to do. Punish you for imperfection on offense. If you do not put something perfectly on target, force him to make a tough save, he is countering you. Does such a good job of securing every last one of those as a goal for himself. Kickoff goal in his favor. 4-0. Mawkzy trying to show that he's a head above the mob right now. And 2 minutes into game 2. No reason to believe he's not. What is this emote? Genius? Only for genius? Question mark, question mark? Okay, sure. I guess. I don't know. You can have it. Rebmob. Air dribble reset. Not able to force it in, and 5-0. He's down to go next. He is going to have to play from heavily behind here for the rest of the match. Have to be a reverse sweep for the mob if he wants to do it. Megan Jurabu, thank you for the 2 months of tier 1. Much appreciated. Did you just bring us over 7? I think you did. Chat, it's time. 7's in the chat. Oh, Mawkzy just quick chatted one more game. Game number 3. Mawkzy and Rebmob. It has been domination so far for the Mawkzy. Really no other way to put it. Rebmob has not been able to get going like he has in King of the Hill. At times showing flashes of brilliance against Mawkzy, looking like one of the few people who actually can dethrone him. Once it's gotten to tournament time, it has been none of that. It has been all Mawkzy. Another kickoff in his favor. Rebmob trying to back off after losing it into the orange half. That hasn't been working for him, but tough to try and stick his way in. And there it is. There is the 7. I believe this means that every lower time you see now will be the new record. So somebody keep track of how low the timer gets. We are currently running streams from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Time for as long as that timer stays up. But I imagine most people who know about Feer probably know how that's going by now, even if you only watch on the YouTube. Mawkzy finally denied a shot. And that is the start of what could be Rebmob's comeback, but he's been able to make saves on occasion. I think the bigger thing that's lacking is we have really not seen almost any offense from him. Mawkzy apparently drinking a Red Bull earlier said his heart was like gonna explode. Wasn't sure if he was gonna play Arm the Rebels. Seems like he's now finally getting into the good benefits of his energy drink. And we'll launch a double jump long shots in for the 3rd. Timer goes out, stream goes off. Exactly. You've got it. Heart attack buff. Cardiac arrest buff for Mawkzy. Mawkzy ends up putting the ball right on the mob on the reset shots, and you know, Mawkzy hasn't really not been giving any of these throughout the series so far. It's only been Mawkzy Rebmob, who has not been perfect on offense and gifted away a few counterattacks. For the first time, Mawkzy makes a mistake. Kickoff goal for Rebmob. And this feels like the moment, if there's ever going to be one, for Rebmob to get going. Kodo Mi was taken. And incessant time chatters. Maybe the 2 months of Prime. And we're back. 8 hours is back, which means it's time to again prepare your 07s in chat for when we once again arrive in the 7-hour mark.
Mawk is going into cardiac arrest. Rest going into cast. Into
Joink. Oh. Thank you, Shadow. Mawkzy's gotten a ton of these. I wonder if they would register as kickoff goals on the King of the Hill overlay. He's taking them straight towards the orange net off the kickoff. There it is. Sevens as we arrive at the 7-hour mark again. Did anybody keep track of what, maybe 7:58? New record? Can we get somebody the notepad? Sorry, I'm late, boss. Don't tell me, tell chat. They're relentless. They decided earlier no bathroom breaks. Long shot for Mawkzy, catching Rebmob. Desperately trying to gain a possession here. Spent a ton of time in the blue half, but as soon as he's on low boost, Mawkzy smells blood. Knows that his counterattack is now ready. And is able to pass to himself off the back wall. Long shot gives him a 2-goal lead. He's trying to finish off this one in a sweep. Rebmob, imagine a psycho cross whole field. Certainly could maybe be the spark, but even though we've seen from offense from him, it's not enough. Mawkzy canceling out his backflip as he launches this one to the backboard and taps it in for a 3-goal lead. Rebmob dropping an OMG as Mawkzy goes to take his boost as well. Wants to make sure Mob has nothing. Rebmob double. Or sorry, I should say Mawkzy double with Rebmob and nets. It's very wide. Rebmob still doesn't have boost. Bumped into the back corner. Able to get his 100, but at the cost of him getting scored on. Ooh, Mawkzy had a chance for a little zap dash and then hook shot. That's what he tried to go for. Could have beat Mob back, but obviously a bit all in and it didn't work out. Minute left to go. This would be one of the most crazy comebacks we've seen in a long time if Rebmob were able to win this game and then bring back the series, because I mean, this has just been a Mawkzy free play session almost, it feels like, for the first 14 minutes of the series. Maybe Rebmob can turn it around. Another kickoff in his favor. I do not love the choice to just slow shot roll it at the net once he had possession, but he at least has Mawkzy back. Can he force him off the boost? No, he did it too quickly, so now he's going to have to back off. Mawkzy with possession to end the game. This is what I'm talking about before. I think it all came down to Rebmob had a clean look, and he settled for, you know, a C level shot as opposed to a B, A, you know, S tier shot. Sure, there was a chance he could have rushed it quick enough to beat Mawkzy back, but you need to be sure. As the game's winding down, have to have a perfect shot. Something that has much more likelihood to score, especially when you have earned possession and you have boost. Sometimes you got to take a lower level shot when you're absolutely forced to by other means, but don't feel like Rebmob was there. Rebmob trying to get a 50. Great recovery as he rolls around the ball. Mawkzy's dropping great passes to himself. 9 seconds left to go, and again, it would be pure cinema if Rebmob found a way. Mawkzy, wave dash kickoff. Rebmob trying to take a standard kickoff into the blue half, and he's going to drop a no, as he knows Mawkzy can even roll it towards his net. 3-0 sweep. Mawkzy going to win in the Arm the Rebels Cup. I'm sure these guys are going to battle some more in King of the Hill later. All love in the chat. You guys can't see, but these guys are just being best buddies. You're peeking. Oh, there it is. There's the slight little bit of salt. It was all nice, but your peeking is, of course, trash talk to somebody after they just beat you. The implication being you're only won because you're playing the best you've ever played. Oh, GG's.